The Radio Vet with Dr. Kelly back on the air on CPL Radio. This is the show where you find out about the things that the animals who live in your house, what they do and why they do it. She's got all the answers.
As best we can tell.
As best we can tell, yes. So, what ailment will we discuss today?
Cats and all their vomiting.
They need to stop that.
It is very, very common for house cats to vomit. But I do want to make the point that common doesn't equal normal.
Oh, boy. Oh, this is a controversial episode today. Really stirring things up a bit. My little Siamese girl, just yesterday, right by her scratching post, decided to leave something that my daughter number 4 calls the cat-made pancake batter.
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty good description.
I thought it was apt.
Yeah.
Yes. So, anyway. So, why did she do that, Dr. Kelly?
Did you ask? Well, how often does she do this?
Actually, very seldom. I've had cats. I had cats in college who was much more frequent.
Yes.
But I was a college dude, so I was probably buying worse food.
Oh, maybe that's, yeah.
Because she is on this Pro Plan diet, and she only likes fowl. She doesn't like fish. She doesn't like... She just, bring me the bird.
Okay.
That's all she wants is bird.
Yeah, that is a good possibility. Good quality food versus not so great quality food certainly could make a difference in the regular, what I call the kind of regular level of background vomiting in your average cat.
I mean, easily in my college days, I was probably buying 90 cans for $1,
Yeah, great food.
Yeah, old Roy for cats.
So the question is, just because something is common doesn't mean it's normal, but just because something's abnormal, do we need to treat it?
There we go.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So the internal medicine specialists who specialize in feline medicine would say, chronic vomiting, even as little as once a month, it's common in cats, but technically it's not normal.
Well, there we go. Well, I would think any sort of vomiting, anything that's exiting you unplanned,
yes,
is problematic.
Is a symptom of something being amiss.
Right, exactly.
And they would argue that, even bringing up the occasional hairball is not normal.
Our girl never does that, actually.
Yeah,
we're good
not
there.
all cats do.
No.
But that doesn't mean you necessarily need to do a darn thing about it, especially if it's, rare, like your cat, or if it's, once or twice a month and it never increases.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's chronic vomiting and acute vomiting.
Oh,
in cats.
It's never cute. No.
No. So, and that has to do with time. Something that's chronic means it's been going on a long time. Something that's acute meaning it's a brand new thing that just showed up.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's also acute on chronic vomiting.
Couldn't leave well enough alone.
Which means, yes, they've chronically vomited, but now all of a sudden it's a whole hours. It's a change, in other words.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the average cat probably chronically pukes about once or twice a month.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my guess. With acute vomiting, you'd see something like 1 to 3 episodes of vomiting in a relatively short period of time, such as a half a day, and then they'd go back to normal. If the problem passed,
right,
that's acute,
okay.
And it wouldn't, be happening on and on and on. But when do you need to do something about
when
it?
is it time?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you have a cat that has a specific pattern of occasional vomiting, like as mentioned, once or twice a month, and all of a sudden it's different. That would be an indication to probably get them in, or if there's an episode of acute vomiting, they vomit 3 times or more, and the cat is lethargic.
Oh, there's trouble.
Their energy level's different.
Not always easy to ascertain with cats, however.
Well, their attitude's different. They hide. When cats are sick, they tend to disappear. They hide.
It's true. That's true. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's a natural instinct. So an acute vomiting episode 3 or more times plus lethargy, that's an indication to get them some help.
Okay.
Yeah, and then chronic vomiting that all of a sudden changes, gets worse. Cats who vomit, say acutely, but then it goes on and on and on, and they're not eating,
Oh boy,
that can quickly turn into a terrible sequela of cats not eating called fatty liver disease.
They're not replacing what they're losing.
And so they're mobilizing body fat for energy.
Right.
And when they have a whole lot of excess body fat, first of all, when the body dips into its fat stores, in order to make that useful energy, it sends it to the liver for processing.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. So when a cat has a lot of extra body fat and they stop eating, the liver can become overwhelmed with the amount of fat that's getting sent to it, and fat will get deposited in the liver, and the liver will fail, and we call that fatty liver disease.
Yeah, boy.
So when fat cats stop eating, it's actually more of an emergency than when skinny cats stop eating.
How interesting.
Because of fatty liver disease.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. When a kitty cat, ejects, do you recommend, and they haven't seen it for a while, do you recommend, just wait on the first one? Okay.
Yeah, because they may quickly return to normal.
Okay.
If they vomit up to 3 times and they're not lethargic and then they return to normal, okay, great.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah. Okay.
Move on.
Yeah, these cats, they don't make it easy for anybody, especially you guys, I imagine.
Yeah, they never tell us. And vomiting itself is a rather vague, non-specific symptom. It doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong in the GI tract.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so it can be a whole bunch of different causes. So causes would include things like exposure to toxins.
Right.
Yeah. So unfortunate common ones would be lilies, like people like today. My next door neighbor got a bouquet of flowers, which was delivered to my house. But nonetheless,
oh no!
Often those bouquets that people get include lilies. Why? Because they're beautiful and colorful and extremely poisonous for cats.
The worst, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so one early symptom of lily intoxication in cats would be vomiting.
Oh boy!
Okay. A similar toxin. Antifreeze, cats who go outdoors, cars that leak antifreeze.
It's just so good, though.
Tastes good.
It's so delicious.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Why do they make it like candy? Just don't understand. Maybe they have a thing about cats. I don't know.
There's also, of course, medications that can cause vomiting. So a cat may be on an antibiotic for a reason. Oh, that can cause vomiting.
Right.
An anti-inflammatory, something like chemotherapy, obviously can cause vomiting too. Diet. What they ate can cause them to throw up, something they're not used to, or something you changed their food, to a different brand they're not used to. Or what's interesting about cat foods is that the cats who eat food that includes fish do vomit more than cats that don't eat any fish.
We are so lucky. Our girl hates fish. I mean, and it's just like with a passion, despises.
I've never, ever fed my cats that, and so I've just avoided it altogether.
Yeah, so.
They like it.
Some do, yeah. I mean, I remember my prior cats, the ones who were ralphing everywhere, loved fish.
Yeah, they like it, but I don't, recommend it, especially if you have a chronic puker. Maybe they'll puke less if you get them off the fish.
Get off the fish, everybody. Come on. Interesting. Okay. Well, I had a prior cat who used to eat a lot of our plants, our house plants, and to the point where eventually they would ralph all our house plants up. So not only did I ruin your plants, I left them in a liquid form all over your kitchen floor, which is just great. We loved her.
They love doing that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What does my friend call them? Unblinking spawn of Satan. That's what you refers to as cat. He's not a fan, as you can imagine.
They do blink. I mean, I got to argue with him there.
On occasion they do, yes, but not nearly enough for him, apparently. So, unblinking as well, yes. Our girl, and actually I was a little concerned the other night. A friend of mine found a bunch of fresh catnip growing along the interurban trail.
Yeah.
And he knew that we had a cat, so he's kind of become her pusher. Mm-hmm. And so he gathered it all up, and I brought it home for her. And she loved it so much, she devoured half the stock. Mm-hmm. But she didn't throw it up. Oh. So that was good. But I would. Is that okay? I don't know if that's something I should be worried about or not. I made a mental note to ask you when you got to the show today. Can my cat eat a lot of catnip?
Yes.
She devoured it whole.
Yes. The problem would be if she literally swallowed like a stringy stalk that was like, say, more than a couple inches long, intact, and it unluckily became a foreign body obstruction.
No, this is all leaves.
Linear foreign body.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, this is all leafy stuff, so it was fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Boy, she loved it. That raw stuff especially. It was like in its purest form. I felt like Scarface.
Cats eating things that don't belong in their bodies, of course, non-food things, or what we call foreign bodies, is another cause of vomiting.
Like Junior's Lego.
Yeah, in cats. And so, let's see, what have I pulled out of cats' guts?
Oh, no.
Just recently.
Like a magician.
Just recently, someone I work with who owns a cat who is elderly and takes medication for hyperthyroidism. By the way, that's another cause of chronic vomiting in cats, hyperthyroidism. Let's see, she was suddenly not eating. And we took an x-ray, and lo and behold, there's something in there that doesn't belong.
Something extra.
So we unfortunately had to go to surgery because it had already been there for 5 days.
What the heck was it?
It was a piece of a dog toy.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Some kind of, it was a foam shape, it was a star-shaped piece of hard foam.
And just sitting there.
Stuck in her duodenum, the upper small intestine. So it had made it just past the stomach and then got stuck.
It's doing so well.
Just physically stuck.
What a journey.
Unfortunately, what was a little scary was it had been there long enough that it had worn a hole in her intestine.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, I could see the blue foam, looking at me right through a whole little teeny tiny hole in her gut.
Man.
Yeah. Miraculously, she didn't have peritonitis, an infection-free in her abdominal cavity.
Yeah.
And we, got the thing out and fixed her up and removed the bad tissue and sewed everything up. But at 13, she recovered like nothing happened.
That's fantastic. There
Cats,
we go.
And I told my coworker before we went into surgery, cats, if they can do anything, they can heal.
Nice.
They are amazing at it.
Well, they know how to rest.
They are amazing at it.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow.
But, even by 2 days later, she was like, okay, feed me. Nothing happened.
Where's that dog toy? I want to pick up where I left
right,
off.
Yeah.
Oh, cats. Well, today's episode about cats vomiting is not brought to you by Bounty, the quicker picker-upper, but it doesn't hurt to have it on hand if you have a cat. So anyway, we'll be back to talk about more cat stuff after this. Back on the Radio Vet with Dr. Kelly. If you missed the first segment, you missed all kinds of puking cats. So you've come back just in time for more.
Yes, so more causes of vomiting in cats. We've already mentioned a few. Causes specific to the stomach would be cats can get ulcers.
Oh boy.
Cats, as we already alluded to, can have foreign things in their stomach that aren't food and don't belong there and won't pass. And just plain old inflammation. So they may have eaten something that may have already passed through them and is long gone, but that upset the lining of their stomach and caused inflammation. And if the inflammatory reaction's still going on, they can still be vomiting even though what caused it is long gone.
Okay.
There's parasites that can cause vomiting. Interestingly, one of the parasites that can cause chronic vomiting in cats is heartworm.
Oh, boy.
Weird.
Yeah.
So cats, thankfully, don't catch heartworm very often. That's a dog, or I should say canine, parasite.
Absolutely.
But when they do, they either get chronic lung disease like asthma or chronic vomiting, or both.
Wow, there's a bonus.
Yeah.
This is getting into the season where my girl's going to start cleaning our house out of mice, which is a wonderful byproduct. Yeah. I mean, we're so happy with her services. I feel like I should be cutting her a check every week because she's so good at it. In fact, she already took care of one this week. Do I have to worry about that eventually causing vomiting? Anything that a mouse could transfer to her that would make her sick? I mean, beyond... Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
so the only thing I'd worry about, and it would be better if she vomited, would be if this mouse had been somewhere where there's rodent poison.
Okay.
And consumed it, but not been sick and died yet, and your cat consumed the mouse full of the poison.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the main thing I'd worry about.
Well, she's not a consumer of them. She's just a murderer of them. No, she has no interest in devouring them. She just wants them to die. Hopefully horribly.
Okay.
Preferably.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. She's been known to bat them against the wall. Yeah, she throws them in the air and then hits them against the wall, which I think is remarkable to watch. I mean, it's just great. She's upset that they're dead because she was having a good time with them.
Yeah, the toy stopped moving.
Right. Oh. So she tosses it in the air and hits it against the wall, thinking this will make it.
This will liven it up.
A bit. Yes. I think she was a mobster in a prior life. But,
terrible.
Yeah, not too good, but it's pretty horrifying. So okay, well, good. Then I won't worry about it, and she can just let her rip this season. I think she's gonna have a good time. We live behind a field, and I think she's going to have a real good time this season. So
you have an endless supply of naive mice.
Yes, word will get out. I'm assuming, but
maybe
so far so good.
Intestinal causes of vomiting, similar to the stomach, inflammation, foreign bodies, something called inflammatory bowel disease.
Okay,
rather
IBS.
Common. Yes, it's very very similar to IBS and rather common in middle-aged and older cats.
Oh boy, I just know it from watching television.
Yeah,
so many.
Constipation will cause cats to vomit.
Oh really?
Yes, it will, and I will have to say, I will admit that if a cat comes in constipated and I help him out with an enema, I almost always wind up making him puke.
Oh, really?
With the enema. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's a common reaction.
2 for the price of 1 show. All right.
The other thing that happens in cat intestines that can cause chronic vomiting would be cancer. The most common kind of cancer in cats is intestinal lymphosarcoma.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
No, it's a very diffuse cancer that lives throughout the wall of the intestine rather than a discrete tumor.
Do they know why this is so prevalent? Is there something that
not that I know of. No,
okay.
Not that I know of.
Time for a study, guys. Come on.
I'm sure there's some out there.
This is, we cat owners want to know what to avoid.
Right?
Tell them to stop smoking or something. I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps it's a function of food. Perhaps it's a function of this is where they're most reactive as far as their immune system. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Organ disease outside the GI tract can cause vomiting. So liver disease would be common, a common cause of, chronic vomiting or acute vomiting.
Sure.
Kidney disease. Kidney failure can eventually cause vomiting.
Okay.
And pancreatitis.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, pancreatitis. I think more commonly in cats with pancreatitis, they just stop eating completely.
Okay.
Dogs with pancreatitis vomit like crazy. Yeah.
No, I don't want anything to do with that. So you're a cat owner.
I am.
So the question, of course, is how often does a vet's cat puke?
Well, my senior cat has hyperthyroidism.
Oh.
So he's on medication. He's pretty darn well managed, but he probably, if he misses a dose or 2 in a row of his medication, he'll vomit.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. The other cat, who's much younger and healthy, he probably vomits twice a year.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
all
so
right,
pretty infrequently.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. Your older cat? How old is your cat? How old is that cat?
I don't really know. He's from the Humane Society. He's probably, I'm going to guess, 14.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He has hyperthyroidism, so an overproduction of thyroid hormone.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's taking pills?
He does take methimazole twice a day. It is actually in a chewable form.
Good.
Sometimes he gets tired of it, though, and stops eating it, and then I have to ball it up and shove it down his throat. Yeah.
It's playtime. Oh, boy.
He's become extremely tolerant of that. He just knows it's going to happen. Yeah, I can do it real quick.
That's true. You do have some training in this regard.
I practice at least. Yeah.
It's a couple times a week.
So other endocrine causes of vomiting besides hyperthyroidism, hypercalcemia. So having a blood level of calcium that is abnormally high, yes, causes appetite suppression and sometimes vomiting. So why would they have
I was just going to say, what's
how does
going
that
on
happen?
There? Yeah.
That can be from itself a few different causes. It can be from cancer. So lymphosarcoma can cause hypercalcemia. That's called hypercalcemia of malignancy. Let's see, hyperparathyroidism, a disorder of the thyroid glands.
Oh, my.
Glands near the thyroid.
Okay.
Which, by the way, regulate calcium.
Well, that one stands to reason, I guess.
Yeah. And then senior cats also, unfortunately, get a lot of what we call idiopathic hypercalcemia. It's not from cancer. It's not from a parathyroid problem. We don't know why they get it, but it responds to treatment.
Okay.
My cat, who has hyperthyroidism, also has that.
There we go. Oh, boy. That's
He's in good shape, though. He takes 2 medicines. They work.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And then he just has a normal life.
Yeah. He does. Pretty normal, I guess.
What does he do all day? That's why,
Right. Yeah. He does cat things all day.
Cat things. Wish I did cat things all day.
I know. That'd be great.
Jump on the windowsill.
Pee on the bush outside.
There you go.
The other endocrine disease that can cause vomiting in cats is diabetic ketoacidosis.
I know that one.
Yeah. So diabetes that's poorly regulated or undiagnosed goes on long enough, they get into a ketoacidotic state. And one of the symptoms is vomiting.
Okay.
Yeah. There are neurologic causes of vomiting. Cats can get vestibular disease, which affects your sense of balance. Dogs or cats with vestibular disease will often have a head tilt. They'll have trouble staying upright because to them it looks like the world is turning sideways constantly.
So they have motion sickness.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Inner ear infections.
Sure.
Encephalitis, so inflammation of the
brain
lining. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And neurologic cancer, so brain tumor.
Oh my.
Infectious causes of vomiting. Heartworm disease we already mentioned.
Right.
A virus called panleukopenia.
Okay.
And FIP, feline infectious peritonitis, which is
two stuff.
A cat coronavirus.
Oh my, it's not two stuff. I thought it was, oh my God. Cat coronavirus.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. There are gazillions of coronaviruses out there.
We're just enjoying our big one right now. Yeah.
Exactly. It's been around a long time.
The big winner right now. So, yikes.
So, yeah.
I'm assuming in veterinarian school, with everything you've just mentioned, they must have had, like maybe in your second year, I'm thinking junior year, an entire semester of vomiting.
If only.
It's just so much.
Entire semester of vomiting. But it would have to be cats, dogs, horses, cows. By the way, horses don't vomit. They can't. Guinea pigs.
Lucky.
Same thing. Can't vomit.
That's true. My guinea pigs never barf.
They're physically unable to. They aren't wired that way.
Lucky again.
Interesting.
Absolutely,
Maybe.
Yeah. I've got the stomach flu, but I can't pee.
Sometimes you really should
that
vomit,
is true.
though.
Well, yeah, we don't want to, turn off our listeners here.
Yeah.
But, wow. Okay.
So if your cat is vomiting and it's bad, what would we do
Where do
if
we
you
start?
brought him to the clinic?
Right.
Well, you always start, of course, with a history and an exam.
Right.
A basic physical exam. And let's see, x-rays would be common to see, is there something in that GI tract that doesn't belong, like a toy?
So that's where my car keys went.
If x-rays look normal, blood work would be a common thing to do. Check that thyroid level, calcium level, kidney, liver values. Why are they vomiting? Check the pancreas through blood. There are barium studies. That's when you give a patient a radio opaque or a contrast material, have them drink it, which, with animals means we force it down their throat with a syringe.
Always fun.
And, then you take a series of x-rays. So you see it in the stomach, and then a half hour later in the intestines, and then a half hour later more, further into the intestine. And you see, does it get all the way through, and how long does it take? If it stops, where does it stop? Why did it stop? Usually there's a stricture or a foreign body that you just couldn't see on the plain x-rays. Ultrasound is also a common tool for investigating vomiting, abdominal ultrasound. Finally, if we've exhausted other avenues, the exploratory laparotomy. You just got to go in and look.
We're just going in. Oh,
sometimes you get to the point you just got to go in and look and find out what the heck is going on in there. And you may not find anything grossly, in which case you take biopsies. Biopsy everything. Biopsy the stomach, the duodenum, the jejunum, the ileum.
How often?
Really rarely the colon.
Yeah, right. It doesn't make it
that
there.
That doesn't make you puke.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How often does it get to that point? Because you've got all those other options.
Thankfully,
there.
not that
That's
often.
good, because you'd hate to have to, be cracking them open constantly.
There are diagnoses that you can get to in one step, and there are diagnoses where you got to progress through a multi-stage, diagnostic.
Wow.
Diagnostics.
Meanwhile, Fluffy's barfing everywhere.
Right. Exactly.
Jeez, that's tiresome.
Those are the oh boy kind of cases where you just got to keep progressing through all the usual steps till you've eliminated this and that and that and that, and I'm like, you're going to wind up somewhere. Sometimes the biopsy is the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you, of course, you can't really start there though, because
that's a very invasive thing to do.
Right,
so no, we don't start there.
But that's a shame. It gets to that point. Like, why did we just start here?
Hindsight.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. That's day in the life, eh?
Yes.
Oh boy. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for letting us know about not to freak out about barfing kitties.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and part of it's just part of what they do. Because I know all my other cats, certainly my black kitties I had when I was in college, they were just regular barfers, and
it's common. You don't necessarily have to worry about it.
No.
Yeah.
All right, folks, get out that paper towel. We will talk to you next time on the Radio Vet. Take care.
Thank you.